Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It's Thursday night, and you know what that means by now. It's match preview evening. And today I am pleased to say that I'm joined all the way from Peru, I believe. It's Tom, who runs the brilliant Shrimps Online Twitter page and website. If you want to know anything and everything about Morecambe, then that's the place to be. There are other Morecambe sites out there, but my own personal opinion is this is the best one, the most in-depth one. I've spoken to Tom throughout the season now, and he definitely knows his stuff. So what better guest to get on to talk about the game this coming Saturday, 3 p.m. The Gills will travel up north for what probably is the very definition of a six-pointer. But before we get into the show, Tom, first of all, you just told me as we came on, you're actually on your honeymoon. So I really appreciate you taking your time out of that to come and join me this evening for a chat.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me, Matt. I wouldn't, I'm just in the middle of Cusco at the moment, just arrived back from a trek. So, I'm really glad to be on. And it's been a pleasure just following your channel through the season. And, ever since we played through the season, we've kind of kept in touch, haven't we? So it's been good.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I say, right, let's crack on then. So I don't take up too much of your time. I don't want you getting in trouble with the new wife. Right. Let's get straight into it. Last six in the league for Gills and Morecambe. If you're looking at the Shrimps first, it is 5 points from the last 18 available. That's loss, win, draw, loss, draw, loss. So pretty patchy at the moment, Morecambe. But I have seen on Twitter, I think it's fair to say that performances have probably been a little bit better than results. But having listened to the feedback after the Lincoln game on Tuesday, it's fair to say that you need to learn to start putting these performances in over 90 minutes again. And it sounds familiar to us throughout most of the campaign. We've been good for half hour, we've been good for an hour, and then it's the bad portion of the game that's ultimately cost us. Gills, slightly better. So this is a first. Gills running into a game in better form than an opponent. That's probably the first time that's happened in the entirety of this campaign. It was loss, draw, loss, and then that's win, loss, win after that. Obviously, that's straight in from the turnaround and the change of manager. Them two victories and that solitary defeat have come under Neil Harris. And we've gone from conceding 7 at home to Oxford less than 2-3 weeks ago to keeping 2 clean sheets in the last 3 and only conceding once in 270 minutes of football. Delve a little deeper. Morecambe at home were a lot stronger than they've been overall recently. It's a pair of wins, a pair of draws and a pair of defeats, giving them 8 points from the last half a dozen games. Gills, away form's absolutely wretched. If you're a Morecambe fan and looking for the silver lining, it's 1 draw and 5 defeats from the last 6 on the road for Neil Harris's men. But obviously we have to bear in mind only one of them is under Neil Harris. So 1 point from the last 18 available. It's been a tricky season for both, I think, hasn't it, Tom? It's fair to say you started really well, if I remember rightly. Opening day, you got a point against Ipswich and you was punching well above your weight. Gills sort of picked up through August and September, little bit of October, and then from there on in up until probably about 2 games ago, we've been absolutely awful.
So I think a lot to take in there. I think we're a very Jekyll and Hyde side, to be fair, and it's not always against the opposition you would expect. So just the fact that you're saying the silver lining to play Gillingham, that you're terrible away, doesn't give me a lot of that doesn't boost me necessarily, because, for example, we went to Lincoln in the week, and someone was saying they had the worst home form in the league, and we've ended up losing. Crewe I don't think Crewe had won away all season or something, and they beat us. So, but then we've gone and beat Wickham at home. We've outplayed Bolton completely, comprehensively outplayed Bolton at home, who had come in not conceded 4 goals. So we're just really hard to predict. What I would say is, you're right, we started very well, and then we kind of tailed off, and then there was some pretty big deficits in the squad, like holes of what we had. And I think we're struggling to maintain a permanent keeper was one position, and ongoing issue at centre-back that we're consistently conceding goals from corners, just lapses of concentration, that we had one centre-back that we could really rely on, and Anthony O'Connor, who's our captain, but also probably one of our best players of the season. But then that second centre-back has just been, we've tried everyone, and it's only since Jacob Badal, who's coming from Burnley, have we started to look a bit more solid. So really, since January, the performances have picked up. The the results have been patchy, but the performances have overall been pretty good. Ever since we came back from losing 3-0 at home to Doncaster and turning that round, give or take the odd game, we've been good. We went to Tottenham and we were 1-0 up against Tottenham for 70 odd minutes. Beat Wycombe. We really outplayed Wycombe. We've outplayed Bolton. So there's a good team in there. And I don't think we've got the problems that we did before. We've got goals in the team. We've got Cole Stockton, who you know well about. We've got Adam Phillips back from injury, who on his day could be one of the best midfielders in League One, if not higher. It's just when is it his day? Jonah Younger, who you're probably familiar with now, that we got from Bristol Rovers, who I'm a big fan of. But again, he's a bit of a confidence player.
Should have scored an equaliser Tuesday. I saw the highlights.
It's those kind of things at the moment, Matt. It's just not quite falling. You can talk about luck, but we were shocking in the first half against Lincoln, shocking defensively, just not doing the basics, not pressing right, which was such a weird performance after battering Bolton. So it's really difficult to understand. Then the second half, we shuffle things around a little bit, and then all of a sudden we get back into it, and then Jonah Younger misses that chance 2-2. You'd back us to go and win that game then. So, and then the Bolton game, we're 1-0 up against 10 men. We've already missed a penalty prior to the goal. I won't go into the bits off the field because I'm just not across it genuinely. Mm-hmm. But then we concede in the 100 and odd minute, I don't really sure, like 16th minute of injury time. So, and they'd had one shot on target to 7. So, really you need to be winning those games, even though it's against the top Bolton side. So it's just really hard to predict, to be honest, Matt, where we're at. But overall, I think that we've got the right ingredients in the squad now to win games. It's just turning those performances into wins, I think.
Yeah, like I say, again, I can't reiterate. No, it sounds similar to us. You've got it all there. It's just now about trying to put it together for 90 minutes rather than periods of games and then switching off, which is ultimately costing you. And we've done that so many times this season. And it's weird what you said, because I've actually written down, although I said Gills are in horrendous form away from home, but I had a look at your record. Since the start of December, you've played Fleetwood, you've played Crewe, you've played Doncaster, Wimbledon and Lincoln, all teams that are in and around you in the table. You've only won once, drawn 2 and lost 2. Is that a concern at all?
Definitely a concern. That I like to sit on the fence a little bit sometimes because I don't like to put it out there, but we need to beat you on Saturday. We need to beat you because if you beat us, then all of a sudden we're looking down again. We need to, realistically, with the teams above us that we're catching with games running out, is slimming. Like, I thought Cheltenham was a team that we could potentially catch, but they've gone and beat Sunderland just recently. So that gap's widened there. The two teams that I'm hoping that we can kind of get momentum on, Wimbledon, I believe from the window, Wimbledon have actually got weaker, not stronger, and they've got some issues in their side. So we're only 1 point between them with a game. They've got a game in hand on us, but I think they're a realistic target. And I think Shrewsbury have dived. So, but we need to pick up the wins. There's no point staring at them and saying we can do it. We just need to get that win. And Saturday is crucial for us, as it is for you. So absolutely, losing to Crewe, winning against Doncaster, these are the games that you just have to win. Losing to Sheffield Wednesday away, who, I think they're picking up as a team, a bit Jekyll and Hyde on the other side of the league. Yep. But losing away to Sheffield Wednesday, losing away to Sunderland is not going to relegate you. Losing at home to Gillingham, losing at home to Crewe is going to relegate you. So, without trying to be disrespectful to you guys.
Oh no, it's not. That's exactly what I said. I said losing at Ipswich on Saturday wasn't going to define our season. It was almost a bit of a free swing. We get that we need points in every game, but it's games against the Morecambes, and we play Wimbledon 2 games after you, so we might inadvertently do you a favour. After hopefully beating you at the weekend. But yeah, they're the games that we both sides have got to be picking up points in if they want to get themselves out of trouble. And all I've said since Harry's come in is we just got to keep trying to latch on to the team that's one place above us, pick them off. We picked off Crewe. We got away from Doncaster. Now we're targeting Morecambe, and if we win, we go within a point of you. You're looking over your shoulder, like you say. You get a bit more twitchy. We're building more momentum, and suddenly it could be that both teams are going in opposite directions.
Well, we've been speaking throughout the season, and it was just been dire for you on and off the pitch, right? And then all of a sudden, you just got this like rabbit out of the hat by appointing Neil Harris. It's just like, and then you've got is it 2 wins out of 3?
Yeah, 2 wins out of 3. Beat Crewe a week ago Tuesday, 1-0. Then went to Portman Road. That was probably the best of the 3 performances, ironically, under Neil Harris. Should have been 3-0 up. Lost 1-0. And then we had to dig it out against Cambridge on Tuesday. But again, in terms of the application and the willingness to put yourself in front of the football, it's night and day compared to where we were just sort of 15, 16 days ago when we shipped 7 at home to Oxford United. It's been an unbelievable turnaround in such a short space of time. And as I've said, you've heard me say it a million times, whether we've got enough to stay up purely because we might run out of games is another question. But at least there's more longer term hope now, regardless of what division we're in next season.
I think as well, like almost the pressure is off for you guys to some extent, because like just hearing the fans and like I remember is it Reese and I remember tuning in the 3 of Jack, Reese and Jack, and it was just all League Two. So all of a sudden you've got this spark of actually maybe we can do this. We've got a manager that knows what he's doing. You don't necessarily have the squad because he didn't have a lot of time to operate in the window. And you've lost a couple of key players, but at the same time, you've got a manager that you can get behind. And all of a sudden, you know, sometimes it's not necessarily the players, but it's the togetherness, the uniting the club, and actually that can do a lot. So all of a sudden, you've got a bit of optimism, a couple of wins, and it changes everything. So yeah, we're all of a sudden looking behind us again, which is a little bit frustrating because you know Donny had gone. I think Donny looked gone, and then it's. You know, Crewe, you know, they've had some poor results. Losing to you was a poor result for them. They would have said we need to beat Gillingham. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's it, yeah. It changes so quickly, doesn't it? I mean, it's the morning of Neil Harris's appointment, we were 10 points from safety, and suddenly he's halved it in 3 matches. So, it gives you optimism, but what they always say is it's the hope that kills you. So, we shall see where we come end of April. But at the moment, it's nice to be looking forward to going to football matches again. And 3 clean sheets in the last 5 is very un-Gillingham this season, so that's another positive. You've sort of already touched on one of my questions, which was the mood around the camp. I know you speak to James and Charlie, the two directors up there, and what's the vibe from them? Are they still confident that there's enough within the squad to stay above water?
I think like just got to talk about the fan base as a whole. I think the mood in the camp is frustration at the moment. I would say it's just that it's all good talking about performances, but you know the history books doesn't talk about a team that's played well, right? Oh, well done, they played well, but they got relegated. At the end of the day, we need the points, and you know Jonah Younger buries that chance, and I'm not. It's just the reality of it, or just holding on. You know, 1-0 against a 10-man side, you gotta put that away. So there's natural frustration, I think, in the side, and just being nervous that, you know, our last 2 games against MK Dons away and Sunderland at home. So you don't want to be going into those 2 games needing points because, you know, MK Dons are a class act and Sunderland are just, you know, who knows.
I think our final 2 are Portsmouth and Rotherham. So we're in a similar boat. I don't fancy going to either of them thinking 4 or 6 points.
But it's also that created.
My only hope is that Rotherham have already won the league and they rest everyone and they're all half cut still.
That's I was listening to a pod with Ed Walker and he came on to Shrimps Trust pod the other day and he was saying the same. Or someone was mentioning it on the pod. It might have been Charlie or someone who was saying that it's just that weird season where, you know, not that players down tools, but for example, if Morecambe and Gillingham are going for survival, but then you've got like a Burton or I'm trying to think of someone that's just doing nothing, that's not, you know, one of the sides that's just not going to go up, not going to go down. You'd almost want them over relegation rival, right? That's going to scrap to hell. So it's just so hard to predict, I think, Matt. And I think a lot can change. You know, we beat Wycombe the other week, like a few weeks back, and you know that completely changes the mood. The one thing I will say is a massive lift is, and I know that you're going to get onto this as well. I'm anticipating is the fact we've kept Cole Stockton. You know, he's got 18 goals already in the season, and he's getting goals from all over the angles. And then also, I think we look better offensively as a side. Like if you look at our XG over, you know, recent, you know, we've battered Bolton. You know, Jonah Younger looked a threat. Adam Phillips. We've got more sources that look dangerous all of a sudden. And then Cole will get a goal. He's getting a goal all the time.
Well, I'd say that's your advantage over any of them teams down there. If you look at Crewe, no goal scorer. Mandron was good last season, hasn't hit them heights this season. Doncaster struggling full stop. Gills for Dane Oliver, we're relying on him going on a run like he did this time last year, but nowhere near the volume of goals that he got last season or what Cole's got. At Wimbledon, Ollie Palmer was the one that they sold. You back him to be their scorer. They're relying on midfielders. Fleetwood and Shrewsbury, none of them have got a Cole the goal, as he's now affectionately known around the EFL, I think. And, you know, if I said when we had Charlie and James on the third tier back in the summer that I think everyone wants Morecambe to stay up. But now I have to be careful what I say because obviously I don't want them to stay up at Gills' expense. But yeah, it'd be a great story. And I know Charlie was particularly bullish at the start of the season. He said 12th. James said anywhere above the line and was a little bit more conservative, but it'd represent a great season, wouldn't it? Just staying in this division, surely.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And it's like, you've got to look at the backdrop of how the season went. Like, you just go really quickly. But last season, we're, 2 seasons ago, we were bottom of League Two in November. Then we've turned that round to winning promotion out of the blue. Derek Adams leaves to Bradford, fair enough, does his thing. And then we get in Stephen Robinson. We're 3 weeks behind the window as well because we went up in the playoffs. And I think he brought in 17 brand new players. And that's just obscene. Like, obscene. You've seen at Ipswich, right? They could just play FIFA Ultimate Team or like a 7-year-old playing Football Manager or something and just unlimited budget. And they've still struggled. So to bed in a team in a new division with a new manager, it's just with one of the lowest budgets in the league it's massive. So just for us to survive, and for me, we're on. Might sound crazy, but I still think we're on track because we're still within a really good shout of staying up. And with all those factors considered, I think that's a good achievement. And I think we just need that run. If we can get a couple of games together, I think we'll be fine. And it's just we need that win. And every time we seem to look like we're going to do it, we just don't quite get into third or fourth gear. We start getting into second gear, look like a good team. It's just getting those 2 or 3. We've never had a patch of getting results together in a row. And that's what's killed us, I think, so far this season.
Another link to us. I mean, I don't know what our longest unbeaten run is this season, but it's going to be no more than 3, 4, I would imagine, very, very tops. And we all know that whatever level football it is, if you're not being consistent, then you're going to struggle. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Gills again, we, like you sort of alluded to, you've got it in your own hands. We've still got it in our own hands. We play you, like I say, Saturday, and then we've got Wimbledon 10 days after that, and we go to Lincoln, and that's all before the end of February. So that's 3 games with teams that are all within 10 points of us. If you can pick up 2 wins there or a win and 2 draws, you suddenly you're pulling them back closer to you. And again, you're building momentum and confidence because you're not losing football matches. And when you're a side that's down there, momentum could be massive. We see Burton last year went on an absolutely unbelievable run under Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, and their fan base was exactly the same as ours. This time last year, they were gone. And then obviously their first game was at Priestfield and they beat us 1-0. And then they went on and had pretty much championship winning form for the rest of the season. But back to Saturday particularly, what do you think the team will be that Stephen Robinson's going to pick come 3 o'clock? Have you got injuries? Is there any people that are likely to be out, key players, or? I'm
gonna apologise just in case I drop a B because I've just literally come off a trek, so I'm not 100% a fay, but it's difficult to know whether they're going to go 4-3-3 or 3 at the back, to be honest, because we've kind of been flitting between the 2. I know Ryan McLaughlin is out, our right back, so it's really difficult to anticipate. Sometimes Stephen Robinson likes to match up 3 at the back, so we're not outnumbered against.
Which is what we've played in every game under Harris, having not played it for pretty much 2 years.
Yeah, so if you've seen my previews, I've tried to kind of guess and second guess Stephen Robinson all season. Sometimes got it right on the money, and sometimes it is difficult to anticipate. What I would say is Bolton played 3 at the back from memory, and we played 4-3-3 and completely battered them. So do we go down that route, or I don't know, to be honest, Matt. I really don't know. I'm in two minds whether they'll do it.
No, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
Key players then. Give me, obviously, Cole Stockton, we know is a key player. We know he's going to be a threat. But if you've got to pick one or two more key players, who would you go for then if you're not entirely sure what the system or the 11 is going to be?
Well, just before I go on that, what he might do is he might, with Verdane, I think our best chance is if we isolate Oliver, I think. And I think we did that quite well at Priestfield for a bit. And then second half, you guys came on to us. So we might... we're not going to win against Oliver generally because he wins just about everything. It's just about getting those flick-ons, really. He might even bring Reece Bennett in, I don't know. But yeah, but bringing it back onto the question, the key players, Cole's Cole. I've kind of mentioned him already. Jonah Younger, against Wickham. Wickham could not handle Jonah Younger. I think he'd had like 7 shots in the game. Once he's on it, he's got everything. He's strong, he's skillful, he's quick. So he's got those kind of games where he's just on it and he's unplayable. And then there's other games where he just doesn't look confident in himself. I think Wimbledon away, for example, he just looked the shadow of the player he could be. I'm a big fan of Jonah Younger, just on the basis that he's exactly the type of profile of player that we need to get. We can't compete with almost League Two players / even National League teams in terms of competing to win players over sometimes. So we have to get players that have, I don't want to say defects, but elements of the game that are not quite there. We have to get
it's almost like rough
players.
diamonds that you can get in and polish, yeah.
100%. And he has, for me, that when it's working, he's unplayable for teams in League One. And same with Adam Phillips. Sometimes Adam Phillips, who you'll know well, he can look like a quarterback that can pick a pass that wins games. Other times he can't take a corner. But they're the two players that their form will dictate the result for me. That Cole will keep doing Cole things. He'll hold up the ball well. Give him a chance, he'll probably take it. But the ability for Adam Phillips to find space and pick a good pass, even not necessarily the assist, but just in the build-up, just being able to spray a ball across the pitch. He's not scared of taking a risk, looking for forward passes. And then Jonah Younger, he's not scared to shoot and he'll take players on. I don't know what's your wing-back situation like on the left?
It'll be David Tatondra, I'd imagine, who, to be fair, he came from Bristol Rovers, like Ayunga, ironically, in the summer.
Together.
And he's looked like a car crash for most of the season. And that's no disrespect to him. He just started playing himself into form in October, and then he ripped hamstring. Then he missed a long period. Then he came back in, and obviously we were in horrendous form. He was probably half fit because we didn't have any players. He's looked a completely different player in the 3 games under Neil Harris. He's defended well. He's learned how to position himself a lot better. When to press, when to drop off, when to tuck in, when to go and attack the winger. So yeah, it'd be an interesting battle if Ayunga plays on the right-hand side, because there'll be 2 former teammates that'll be coming up directly against each other, I'd imagine. So that could be an interesting sort of sideshow to the bigger battle.
Yeah, it's not. It's because we've had new signings. Well, we've got Donnelly coming from Northampton. Hope I've got his name right. Donnelly is very quick. He started against Lincoln. So we could go that option, although it didn't set the world on fire. But again, it's only
Dylan Connolly.
Dylan Connolly, there you go. I am just a little bit out of touch. Or we could play Arthur Younger. We do have different options now. But we do need, one of the criticisms has been, just reading through people who are following it, is those players off the bench have got to make more of an impact. The fringe players now have got to come to fore. So it's now, we don't really have a lot more games for players to do their bit. We've got 15 games left. So these players that we brought in the summer need to step up to mark and start helping us win games, really, is the reality of it. Players need to defend well as a team. Against Lincoln in the first half, it was just really disappointing because some of the defending, like not staying with your man and stuff like that. It's like I thought we kind of got rid of that element in recent weeks. So I just don't know, Matt, but I do feel overall confident just because we've got the ingredients that we can stay up. We've got a goal scorer. I don't even necessarily think we'll win on Saturday, but then we could go and beat Rotherham or something stupid. It's like we're just so unpredictable.
That's fine. You can do that. Lose Saturday, beat Rotherham. That's fine. Don't mind.
I'd still rather beat Gillingham and lose to Rotherham, to be honest. I think it would make things a bit less stressful.
It does, yeah, because you're taking points off teams around you. It's not going to make no odds to Rotherham season in the bigger picture, is it? Unfortunately, but 3 points is 3 points. I get that, but yeah, you want to be taking points off those teams that are right around you, because you're gaining 3 points, but you're taking 3 points away from them that they could have won as well. So it's almost like a double, and it comes back to that old analogy, doesn't it? Relegation 6-pointer. Right, before I let you go, I'm going to have to press you for a score prediction.
2-1 Morecambe.
See, I've said 2-1, but I've said the other way.
I never normally predict a win, so I always go 1-1. I just sit on the fence, but I just feel like
I'd have backed you to beat us if it wasn't Neil Harris in charge, because of the Cole Stockton factor, and we were defending horrendously badly. But Neil Harris has turned us into, you just wouldn't believe it's the same group of players. It's phenomenal. We look solid. Like I say, there's a willingness now to put bodies on the line, which there wasn't there. We've not given a penalty away for 3 games, which is quite nice, having 4 penalties in about an hour against Oxford. So that's a bonus as well.
At least Danny Lloyd's not there to trip over the ball.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. You talking about your bench again. Another link to Gillingham is that we're short of numbers now, so there's not a great deal of game changers. Mustafa Carriol looks like he's not going to be available for the weekend. Neil Harris was hopeful, but it looks like it's going to be the following Saturday for him. Ben Reeves, another one that's technically good and can pick a passes. He's probably a week away still with ankle ligament damage, and then Alex McDonald out for the season, Lloydie out for the season with an ACL. Even a young striker, Gerald Sitole, who's got a lot of pace and very direct, who'd look to run in behind, probably similarly to like Ayunga himself, but he's got hamstring, so that's going to be probably a couple of weeks at least, depending on the severity of that. So we're just a little bit hampered in terms of the options off the bench. For me, I don't think Neil Harris will change the side unless there is an injury. I think it'll be exactly the same. So it'll be Aaron Chapman in goal, that back three of Masterson, Amar and Tucker. Wing-backs, David Tatonda, that we've already spoken about. Robbie McKenzie, the other side, who's played pretty much every position for us this season, apart from in goal. Stuart O'Keefe, captain the side. I would be inclined to bring Daniel Phillips in because he's a bit more defensive-minded, and maybe drop Ollie Lee out. But I think Harris will go with the experience of Lee. And then it'll be Ben Thompson for Dane Oliver, and probably one of Charlie Kelman or Tom Dixon-Peters as the other striker. I'm not sure. Kelman's been bright in patches, but hasn't scored in probably half a dozen games since coming back. Dixon-Peters, probably not as far along in his experience, first loan into senior football, but he had an impact from the bench on Tuesday, and he's not directly involved in the goal, but he does enough in terms of getting in the way of the centre-half to allow the ball to run through to Big V to smash it in the last couple of minutes. So his confidence would be up. So I'd be one of them too. But then, yeah, there's, in terms of attacking options off the bench, there won't be a great deal because we've got too many injured again. But it'll be a tight game. We know that it's going to be two sides that will give absolutely everything. You know, there's not as much quality on show as there is from them teams that can afford to buy better players. And again, that's no disrespect to Morecambe and Gillingham. That's the way of the world. But what we will guarantee is I think it'll be 22 players giving it absolute everything. And maybe a draw will be the best result, and then we can still talk to each other Saturday after.
I think it'll be interesting to see the pitch will play a factor somewhat as well. Like, you know, we've got quite a tight pitch, and I think sometimes we've used the home atmosphere. You know, that we've you know, to give perspective, that we're almost clubs doing the opposite. You know, you've been a side that's been in the Championship, whereas we've been a side that's come from, you know, even below the conference. So this is our highest ever point, whereas you're all like looking down life, being depressed about where you are. You know, this season we sold 2,600 season tickets, and you know, that there's still an element of this is brilliant, and you know, the Mazuma Stadium, the crowd, the fans have been fantastic to getting behind the lads. So that could be a crucial element, and just hopefully getting us over the line.
We shall see. Come 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon, or whatever time that will be, where Tom is, because I think you're a few hours behind us, aren't you?
5 hours behind, so it'll be midday.
So come midday in Peru, Tom might be jumping for joy, drinking himself into oblivion, or somewhere in between. Who knows? Tom, it's a real pleasure, mate. I want to say thank you again. Like I said, I didn't realise you was on your honeymoon, but I appreciate you taking the time out of that to come and chat.
No, it's my absolute pleasure, Matt. And regardless of what happens at the end of the season, I'm sure we'll keep the good banter going.
Absolutely. Gills fans, I will put the description to Tom's Shrimps Online website and Twitter page in the description at the bottom of this video. Please come down and comment on YouTube. Let us know if you're Morecambe fan, Gillingham fan, what you think your team lineup will be, what the score prediction will be come Saturday afternoon. Please keep checking us out. We're on Instagram. We are on Twitter as well. Obviously, for Gills fans, we're on Facebook as well. Thanks to everyone who's just got us over 1,800 subscribers on the channel. Phenomenal support. Still can't believe it, 5 years on, that people want to listen to me talking about football on a screen. So really do appreciate it, because I've said it a million times and I'll say it a million times more. The channel's nothing without supporters, without people that retweet and share. And I can see Tom nodding his head. He knows, because he does his similar website. Without fans interacting, it means nothing. So really do appreciate it. Unfortunately, not travelling up north on Saturday to watch the Gills take on Morecambe. If you go in, sing loud and sing proud and bring back them 3 points to Kent. Be back Monday to look back on the fixture for the Monday review video. But until next time, enjoy your weekend and up the Gills.